Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. We have an important show for you today. If building muscle is important to you, let's face it, none of us want to spend more time in the gym than we need to. We want training to be efficient and effective. Well, there's a way to build muscle faster and easier than anything you're doing right now. You may or may not have heard of it. We're going to determine that shortly. But what I can assure you is it truly works. So if you're serious about building muscle, more muscle than you have right now, stay tuned. First, we have to thank my title sponsor, Legendary Foods. If you go to the website, eatlegendary.com, use the code SHR, you'll save 10% off everything you purchase from them. And everything on their website is worthy of your attention. If you want a snack, but you don't want to destroy all the hard work that you've done nutritionally, and you want things that don't have sugar or sugar with fancy names like agave and God knows what else, Legendary Foods is the place to go. Eatlegendary.com, use the code SHR to save 10% off everything that they offer there. Supporting them supports the show. Excuse me, I'm clearing my throat. Hold on a second. Get it over with. I'm back with caffeine. Getting back to the subject at hand. Let's get over here and bring my guest on. And that is Dr. James Stray-Gunderson. And remove that image there and take this down. And here we go. Producing my own show. It's quite a mix of things. How you doing, Dr. Stray-Gunderson?
Very well, thank you, Carl. It's great to be back.
Yeah. Okay, so the funny thing about this is every time we talk about doing this show, I say to myself, why aren't people using blood flow restriction? Because it's clear that people spend literally hundreds of dollars on supplements that let them down. Some use risky drugs that have questionable effects. Most people will tell you that no matter what they use, it never lives up to their expectations of building muscle. The only thing that truly does is blood flow restriction. You've been doing this for how long now, BFR?
Well, for me, it's been about 10 years.
And the research is tried and true. The research is proven within the realm of science. In fact, there's lots of papers that show that this is a great way to recover from an injury. Why aren't more people using BFR, do you think, when you look at it?
I think there's several reasons. I think probably the biggest one is people really haven't heard about it yet. And so it's great we're talking about it on your show. I think another factor is that only a percentage of the population has really gotten the message that they need to pursue regular exercise, and that's one of the best anti-aging medicines there is. So, but a combination of those things, essentially, it's about education and awareness and getting the word out.
So, is BFR dangerous? This is one of the things I think there's a misunderstanding about that. I want to hit it head on first. People think that blood flow restriction, they don't even know the terms. They don't differentiate between blood flow restriction and actually compressing the muscle to the point that there is no blood flow into the muscle. They think that it's a dangerous thing. Oh my God, well, why would you want to do that? Isn't that dangerous? Do you get that a lot?
We get it all the time, and the thing is, and that's one of the big things about Be Strong is that we've designed this so that people really can't hurt themselves. And where when you're using some people are taking Boy Scout belts out of Walmart, strapping them on, and that can be risky and dangerous. And to your
because that's called vascular occlusion, and that can damage any tissue that's being starved of blood.
Right. So I mean, the easy case is to think of if you cut off blood supply to any tissue and you do it long enough, the tissue dies. And that's exactly what we're not trying to do. We're trying to set up a situation where the muscle or the active tissues are not getting all the blood that they need to sustain the work, but they're still getting lots of blood and lots of oxygen. So that's why you need to have these devices that have been demonstrated to be both safe and effective. And a lot of the people are doing all sorts of crazy things in the gym, including, strapping on judo belts or all sorts of kind of tourniquets or blood pressure cuffs. None of these things are really designed to do what we are doing with Be Strong.
So let's address what blood flow restriction is actually doing. Everybody understands the value of the pump. People take supplements, nitric oxide precursors, in an effort to increase the pump. The pump is basically congestion in the muscle. Am I correct about that?
Congestion?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, essentially.
For lack of better terms, you have a variance in blood coming into the muscle versus leaving the muscle. So you have more blood trapped in the muscle, and that is pretty much what the pump is, right?
Well, one of the ways to look at this, or another analogy, is you have a partial dam, and that causes the lake behind it to back up and get bigger. It's the same sort of thing, but with this with Be Strong exercise, it's kind of a partial dam. So it's just applying a little resistance on blood getting out of the muscle and out of the extremity, and but it's still leaving lots of blood to get in there. And as more comes in and can't get out, then the muscle, you get a bit of a muscle pump.
Okay, so let's stay with the muscle pump for a second, because I think it's truly analogous to what Be Strong is doing. So just bear with me here. People take nitric oxide precursors, and you see the ads in magazines, shirt splitting pumps, feeling a pump, leaving the gym, still feeling pumped. And people buy these supplements for this reason.
Yeah.
But nothing is going to provide the pump like a mechanical device designed to allow blood flow to continue, but create that slight congestion where more blood is entering the muscle than is actually leaving, but blood is still leaving the muscle, which is basically what BFR does.
Right.
So if you're somebody who's chasing the pump, stop wasting your money on pills that you have to keep buying every month and just get Be Strong BFR bands. I mean, to me, this is a simple equation.
Right. And let me also kind of amplify that a little bit in saying that each time you do a muscle contraction, you're actually pumping the blood that is in that muscle out. So each time you really tense up, you're squeezing whatever blood is in there out of the muscle. And then when you relax, then the arteries are filling up the muscle again. And so you have, in the first place, you have kind of a partial dam or adding resistance to this. And then what happens is you start exercising, and that exercise then pushes or kind of cleans out whatever blood has been in there. And that actually causes the capillaries and the veins and everything to kind of, on one hand, they distend, and then when the muscle contracts, these blood vessels get smaller. And that action actually releases nitric oxide from the walls of the blood vessels, and then
from
that
pressure,
contributes
from the
to the
pressure.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
in fact, that is what endothelial and venous nitric oxide are. They're the result of increased intravenous pressure that the body releases that nitric oxide from hemoglobin.
yeah, right.
So again, I'm just trying to reduce this to terms where people can understand what's going on. If you believe that there is value in the pump, and there is, in as far as changing the structural architecture of the muscle, then stop wasting your time with pills and potions and get yourself a set of BFR bands, because nothing is going to facilitate a pump better while allowing a continuous exchange of blood flow in and out of the muscle that keeps you from harming yourself than BFR bands. The Be Strong bands, I should say, because yours are the ones that are designed around the science from the Japanese researchers who created Katsu.
Right.
So if you believe that the pump is important to you and there's a value to it, then that's number one. Now, those of you who are watching the show live or listening live, I would love for you to post why, if you've known about BFR bands, why you haven't used them yet. I really need to understand the psyche of a person who is interested in building muscle fast, but isn't using something that actually achieves that goal and using everything else. Because I just don't. I mean, I love them. And I feel the effects of them quickly, and I see the effects of them quickly. I think a lot of people think that the gains don't remain. Have you had this? Have you had people ask you, well, sure, it pumps my arm up, while I'm training, but the structural changes in the architecture of the muscle do stay when you use blood flow restriction and Be Strong bands, right?
Yeah. I think the big challenge has been to get people to try it in the first place. Once they try it, it convinces them, and off they go. So these gains are real, like any kind of exercise training. If you do it on a regular, consistent basis, you're going to enjoy lots of benefits. And so it's really, in my mind, a question of awareness and getting the word out.
So I want to put this up. I was going to wait till a little bit later to put this up, but this is a good time to actually put it up. You can actually get a set of the Be Strong upper arm bands. Everybody wants big guns, right? Everybody wants big arms. They're normally $288, but for a limited time to my audience, they're $199. If you go to the website bstrong.training/super-human, you'll save almost $100 off this, and you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. Where do $199, a good nitric oxide precursor will probably cost you $30 to $50 a bottle. You'll probably go through, if you take the recommended dose, you'll probably go through a bottle at least a month. These will last you years, and they'll actually do the things that you want that supplement to do. So this is a really unique opportunity to pick up a set at a ridiculously low price. Start with your upper arms. If you see the progress, then get them for your legs too. But this makes getting involved with them much easier. So I just wanted to put that out there to those who are listening right now. And I don't know any supplements that give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. Well, there are a couple. I take that back. There are some things out there, but none of them are nitric oxide precursors, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have a question here. Hold on a second. I don't know who's asking this question because their security settings do not allow their name. Pump and vascularity of the pump is phenomenal. To regain the pump with subsequent workouts are even easier. And it's even easier if you start out wearing Be Strong bands. So whoever you are, why are you not using Be Strong bands? If you know that, why are you not using these bands? Post that answer, please, for me. Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, it's once people try it, it's pretty clear. It's pretty obvious what the benefits are. And
Talk about. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I didn't mean to.
I was just going to add that anybody who's done any kind of systematic training in the past, again, they immediately recognize the feelings they get from this that are associated with making progress in their health and fitness.
You know, I've done shows where I've actually had people come on the show that have used the bands. And they've come on and said that the gains that they saw in the first week and 2 weeks were astonishing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just, and I know that we all want more muscle. And if a way to build more muscle faster, more efficiently is sitting right in front of you, what is the reason that you are not taking advantage of it? That's what I want to know from the audience that's listening live. So what about growth factors, growth hormones, and intramuscular hormones? You point out that that doesn't just affect the working muscle, but the other muscles around it, right?
Yeah, and not just muscle, bone, tendons, blood vessels, nerves, everything. And one of the things is there's local effects. The pump is one of the ones that we've already talked about, but there's local stimuli for increasing or upregulating protein synthesis, and that is where you end up getting the hypertrophy from. And there's a whole biochemistry associated with what kind of stimuli end up causing the muscle cells to start producing more of the muscle proteins that they need to get bigger. The other thing, though, is that as we fatigue and we become aware of that fatigue, then that signal has gotten into our brain, and the brain responds by putting out a neurohumoral response, which includes growth hormone coming out of the brain. And then the growth hormone goes everywhere, but one of the places it goes is the liver and starts making IGF-1 that then is released everywhere else. And also growth hormone in these settings can end up causing more testosterone to be secreted. So all of this hormonal milieu starts taking over, and it not only kind of amplifies what's going on in the local muscles that were fatigued, but it helps with all the tissues that the body has that were involved. So, you know, you really get this amplification going on when
that's
you get
systemic. It's actually systemic. What you're pointing out is this actually speeds the systemic response that we would see as a response to training. This actually speeds it up, makes it more effective.
In many ways, you can think of this as a non-pharmacological method to get your growth hormone injection. So, and you don't have to take nitric oxide precursors, because this kind of exercise ends up causing you to release more nitric oxide, and also to upregulate the production of nitric oxide synthetase.
So let Malik put something interesting up. He says, I'm not a fan. I had varicose veins removed 2 times from my legs. It's caused by valves that are damaged in the veins, not closing fully. If you put these bands on a valve. Now, I don't know if he's saying he got, Malik, can you tell me, did you develop varicose veins from using bands, or you had them independently? So bands would be a bad idea. I mean, I've been using them and I don't have any changes in my veins at all.
So let me actually address that. B strong bands are not an issue for anybody with varicose veins or that's had varicose veins removed. In fact, this business of distending and then evacuating or emptying the veins actually makes the smooth muscle in these vein walls stronger, and varicosities can be reduced and sometimes go away completely when you use B Strong on a regular basis.
So Malik, I need you to do 2 things. I need you to comment on 2 things. A, were you using an actual blood pressure cuff type blood flow restriction device that has flexibility and allows blood to move in both directions, number 1? And number 2, were you prone to varicose veins before using the bands, or did you did you find that your varicose veins got worse after using the bands? Because I know, I mean, I use them, and Dr. Jim, I put them on tight. I think the top end of your thing is like 300 milligrams of mercury or something like that.
Well, the pump goes up to 500, but
maybe that's, I take them to the top. Arms and legs. I do. I take them to the top. Maybe I'm foolish, but my quads, my shoulders, when I wear them on my upper arms, my shoulders get a pump. He said, no, I never used BFR. I had them before. Thank you. So he did have varicose veins before. So are you saying that he might actually be a good candidate to use the B Strong bands to recuperate his varicose veins?
Absolutely.
Interesting. Because I do know. Good. I'm sorry.
They, at the very, very least, they're not a risk. They won't make the varicose veins get bigger. And at best, they may just take whatever ones you have, take them away.
So I remember reading a study that Valsalva, repeated Valsalva over long periods of time actually strengthens blood vessels, because the blood vessels are forced to upregulate their strength in anticipation of a future event like this. So this is the same phenomenon.
Exactly right. Exactly right. That's a good way of expressing it.
Interesting. So the results of training with the B Strong bands are permanent. What about the stretching of the fascia? There's a lot of people out there who talk about the importance of the pump is stretching the fascia so that the muscle that lives inside the fascia can actually pull in more fluid into the muscle fibers. This would probably speed that process up, would it not?
Yeah, all the changes that happen with these kinds of things, they happen in all the different tissues. So the fascia, the muscle, the tendons, the blood vessels themselves, everything gets an anabolic stimulus to it.
We're going to take a break, but before we do that, I have to ask those who are watching live to please comment why you have not considered the B Strong bands as of yet. Or if you have, maybe you're somebody who actually has them and you use them. And when we come out of the break, we will read your question. I also want to say again, you can get the upper arm kit at bstrong.training/super-human. They're normally $288 for a limited time. They're $199, and they have a 30-day money-back guarantee. And surely in 30 days, you'll know whether or not they're working. Everybody who uses them, as described, emails me and says, I can't believe how big my upper arms are. Like in a week, they've changed dramatically. I've never been able to get my arms to grow. Now they're growing. So if you really are interested in building muscle efficiently and quickly, this is the way to do it. Without drugs, without supplements that you have to re-up every single month. Be Strong, bstrong.training/super-human. Go there. We'll be right back with more. And your questions, I see questions are starting to load up, so sit tight. We'll be right back. I love beef. And if you love beef, listen up. I've discovered the best tasting beef in the world, and that's not an exaggeration, at Piedmontese.com. The Piedmontese breed is famous from Italy for being lean and unbelievably tender with half the fat and calories of traditional beef. Even typically tough cuts are tender when it comes from the Piedmontese cows. And for the first time ever, Piedmontese cows are being raised here in the USA. Get 2 free 10-ounce New York strips when you purchase $50 or more at Piedmontese.com with code SHR. Go to PIEDMONTESE.com and use code SHR today. You will never eat any other type of beef ever again. Whether your goal is to build muscle or burn fat, you'll find everything you need at Redcon One. Need help getting a good night's sleep? Try Fade Out, or the most popular pre-workout supplement on the market today, Total War. Sign up for their new Transformation Challenge and win $10,000, or shop for apparel that people at the gym will know that you are serious about your training. Need a testosterone booster that works? Check out Boomstick. Whatever you need, you'll find the best quality supplements on the market at Redcon One. Go to redcon1.com. That's REDCON1.com, or go to superhumanradio.net and click the Redcon One banner ads today. You've heard me talk about the chill pill on the show and how effective it is at helping people who suffer from social anxiety, or sometimes when you just want to take the edge off to a long, stressful day. Well, listen to this story from Dylan Goutreau.
Definitely takes anxiety away, which I have a long history of having. Started out at 2 milligrams a day of Xanax. That was at 8 years old. And so I stopped using benzos 3 years ago. Extremely difficult. Yeah, so I spent about 3 years trying to find anything and everything I could that would be healthy for me to help with anxiety. Because I'm talking, full out panic attack. The chill pill was the first thing that I've found that actually in the middle of a panic attack I can take, and it definitely subsides.
Go to drseeds.com. That's DRSEEDS.com. Use coupon code SHR and save 20% off your first bottle of the chill pill. Check it out. I promise this is one supplement that delivers.
Men and women, you've heard about hormone optimization. Do you feel like new Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game? To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
Do you remember those delicious toaster pastries you had when you were a kid? You know, the rectangular sugar-filled snacks? Well, guess what? Legendary Foods has just made low-carb toaster pastry. This is the first of its kind, and honestly, these things are amazing. They have 3 to 4 net carb, less than 1 gram of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. You can eat them right out of the wrapper or lightly toast them. The only question is, which flavor? Strawberry or brown sugar cinnamon? They're available at eatlegendary.com and Amazon.
This is the Superhuman Channel, doing reps with the weight of the world.
Welcome back. Oh boy, we've got lots of good questions and comments and lots of good things going on over here. So let's just go right down the list here for a second. First of all, it looks like it was Aiden Ray who commented above and said that he gets an insane pump from them. I'm trying to verify. I think that's what he was trying to say. That the vascularity in the pump is phenomenal, and to regain the pump with subsequent workouts is even easier, because then he came back down here and he said, I'm the one that was unnamed above, he said, and he goes, I lift once a week heavy duty and then regain the pump easily with just a single set of push-ups. So now here's a good question also from Malik. Again, he said, what about for people with higher blood viscosity? Hematocrit is high. Most people are on a stim or pre-workout. Do you think it's a good, he says, I don't think it's a good idea to use BFR, but I don't know that where he's getting that from. What do you think? You think blood viscosity is an issue?
Nope, not at all.
I mean, if blood viscosity is an issue with BFR, then wouldn't it be an issue with anything that's a nitric oxide precursor that causes a pump?
Well, if what he is getting at is the idea that if your hematocrit gets too high, that the viscosity of the blood gets higher, and at some point it gets so high that the blood clots. But Be Strong doesn't change that one way or the other.
And again, we're interchanging the word BFR and Be Strong, because right here, Marcus Magard says, I haven't used the Be Strong bands, but I have used basic cheap occlusion bands, mostly for knee and elbow issues. I really like how you can get a good training effect from light weights. But those bands are the ones that could be the ones that are dangerous, because they're occluding the blood, they're trapping the blood, and they're not letting a normal exchange of in and out. Yeah.
So I appreciate Marcus's comments. They're good comments. When you go the cheap route, what happens is you don't have the degree of control, and therefore you don't have the safety profiles that you do when you're using our equipment. and some much more expensive equipment. But we tried to make these things safe and as well as affordable. But I think Marcus is right. You can really get a good training effect from basically very light weights.
So I've received numerous messages and emails requesting that I ask you this question.
Oh.
If someone wants to improve calf muscle size, most notably the gastroc, obviously, when we talk about the calf, we're always talking about the gastroc. Nobody even knows what the soleus is most of the time. So is it a bad idea to put the band around the popliteal area of the knee to trap the blood in the calf?
Yeah. The way we do this, what we're after is putting up a resistance for blood to get out of an extremity. So that means that it's always high up on the arm or high up on the thighs. And that way dynamics have a whole leg in order to offset pressure here and there. And then if you want to work on your calves, and you do calf exercises, and that's what's going to get those gastrocs really looking nice and defined and strong.
Yeah, here's the question. Aiden Ray says he wants to try the armbands for the calves. Any use in that manner? Well, you just answered that question.
Yeah.
No, don't put the leg bands up high. And so here's something that I noticed, and I didn't want to answer this, but my forearms look like Popeye's forearms when I put the bands on up here.
Yeah.
And my calves get an insane pump when I put the bands all the way up on high on my thigh. Now, when I put the bands on high on my thighs, I literally get up there in the fold of the leg.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to make sure I'm doing because I don't want to restrict the muscle ability to the entire muscle to contract. So I try to get up there all the way up, just right under my, my junk there. You know what I mean? Is that the right place to put it?
You got to be careful because you don't want to trap anything you don't want to trap.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm careful about that.
I think if we're live.
Yes, please. And then I pull the outside up higher because of so yours is pretty much level. Yeah, that's it.
So the upper edge is pretty high up there.
Yeah.
But basically the rest of the thing is just straight across.
I've gone too high where I put them on and went for a walk, and it caused real like chafing feelings in the crotch there. So I've done that. So what about that? Can I put them on outside my workout clothes, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't have really thick clothing, but any kind of workout shorts or t-shirt or tights, anything like that is just fine. I mean, this shirt's just fine. Here, I can just put it right on right there. Good to go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because I put them on under my workout clothes, and then the problem I have is that the rubber bladder wants to stick to the skin if you're not careful. So can I just apply a little oil or something to the leg before putting it on?
You could.
That won't hurt anything.
It won't. These things are waterproof. One of the things that we kind of occasionally get is that if people use them on bare skin and sweat a lot, then it
get a little blister
and that sort of thing. But you can just gently wash them, and that usually takes care of that.
Now, I have been a proponent of wearing them beyond the workout for whatever period of time I feel in order to keep that pump throughout, let's say, an hour or so after the workout. But I think you frown on that idea, don't you?
Yeah. Well, for one thing, I think, it's while you're doing the exercise that you're getting the benefit from this. If it's not like, you created all these compounds or acid in the muscle, and then you can keep them trapped in there by leaving the band on. That it ends up being cleared out pretty well because there's always some blood flow going through, right?
Right.
So, not that it's particularly bad or good, but we generally recommend to be doing exercise when you have the Be Strong bands on, and that should be just fine.
So I have a friend that loves to lift heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him about, what do you think of the Be Strong bands? And his comment to me was, I like to lift big boy weights. I think there's an implication that Be Strong contributes to muscle architecture changes, but not to strength. Are there correlates between using Be Strong and increasing strength as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Talk about that.
Well, if we go back to the first Katsu study, they were used both by bodybuilders to look big and be big, but they were also used by Olympic lifters and that sort of thing to get strong. And the other thing that people thought for a while is that, okay, fine, the muscles are big, but then they're not like normal muscles that you strength train. But muscle biopsy studies have shown that the architecture is just the way it always has been, and that even in some cases you stimulate these things called satellite cells, and you actually make new muscle fibers.
Right.
So you get both hypertrophy and hyperplasia.
Yeah.
And both of those two things translate into improved strength under
and hyperplasia is gold. And why is it gold? Because those changes in the muscle remain for the rest of your life. It's not a matter of the fluid. It's not a fluid driven phenomenon. It's tissue driven.
It's very hard to stimulate satellite cell development. And
in fact, good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why people really used to lift very heavy.
Yes.
Is to get that kind of stimulus to help the satellite cells get bigger.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's just that we found a way to do that without having to lift heavy. So like that one guy that was calling in saying that he really does like to lift heavy. That's fine. What I think people end up gravitating towards is, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So let's say you get yourself a pair of Be Strong bands. It doesn't mean you can't do any of the other exercise that you've been doing all your life. So, and the way we ease into this is go ahead and do your normal weight work or 3/4 of your normal workout, just the way you do. And then that's induced a little fatigue. And then you put the Be Strong bands on and do a few more lifts and that sort of thing with light weights, and you're getting a really super effect. And as that transition goes, people end up kind of gravitating towards more Be Strong and less of the standard weights, but it doesn't mean they have to, completely go away from them. A lot of people actually learn how they're getting stronger by once a week doing a lifting session where they try to max out, and they find that, whether they're doing kind of a 3-rep max or a 1-rep max or whatever, they're finding that despite the fact that they're not lifting the same heavy weights anymore, they're still getting stronger at those heavier weights.
So Marcus asks, is there any benefit to wearing bands and going for a power walk? I do this, by the way. Or should the bands only be on for 10 minutes at a time?
No. So that's another aspect of Be Strong. We've made these so you can use them with virtually any exercise. And so if you want to go for a 20 or 30-minute walk with the bands on your legs, absolutely. Good stuff. And
I've done this. I've done this, and I got to tell you, Marcus, put the bands on and go for a 30-minute walk. And when you take the bands off, you'll feel like you just did a whole leg session. Yeah. Really. Your legs will be blown up. They'll be fatigued. And by the way, put the bands on and walk with them for 3 or 4 days, and then go for a walk without them one day, and you'll find out your legs have become so much stronger.
Right.
It's like wearing a weight. It's like wearing a weight vest throughout the day, and then you take it off and you realize how much stronger you are just from bearing that load.
Yeah. So any exercise you can think of, you can just putting the Be Strong bands on amplifies the benefit that you're going to get out of that workout. Whether it's yoga or running or swimming or
I was saying hello to somebody. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Dave Buchanan.
Yeah, he's a good friend. In fact, Dave uses bands, but he doesn't use the Be Strong bands. He uses those inexpensive elastic bands. Dave, you should check these out. They will change your upper arms dramatically. Let's go back to Aiden Ray. He says, can you speak to the use Can you speak to the use for or against wearing the arm bands on leg day, as well as wearing the leg bands on upper body day? Should you? I do, because I just put them all on and go to the gym.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think the way you do it is the way to do it. One of the things is the reason why there is, let's say upper body days and lower body days is because the damage that you would do with normal heavy weights, you needed about 4 to 8 hours to recover from that. But with Be Strong bands and Be Strong exercise, the recovery's in a couple hours. So because you really haven't done the damage. And so you can do both arms and legs the same day. You can wear all 4 bands at the same time and do various forms of exercise that use all sorts of muscles. So absolutely, what I would counsel Aiden on is the idea of that he really wants to expand to whole body exercise every day.
So Dave Buchanan says that he saw growth while using blood flow restriction bands. They weren't the BFR bands. However, my blood pressure started to spike. I had problems controlling it. Once I got off the bands, my blood pressure returned to normal in a few weeks. Do you think that this had anything to do with his blood pressure spike?
It's hard to say. It's a very complex picture of why blood pressure actually goes up or not. However, this is a reason for Dave to go get some Be Strong bands, because you need to control the amount of blood flow restriction just right to be both safe and effective. And the other thing is, there's been one of the things is a recent paper just came out showing that walking on a treadmill, when you walk on a treadmill, your blood pressure goes up. This study compared just walking with a treadmill normally, walking on a treadmill with the Be Strong bands in place, and then walking on the treadmill with the with these kind of wide tourniquet type device.
Band. Yeah, the cheap ones, right? Yeah.
What happened was the blood pressure. There was an exaggerated blood pressure response when we used the wide occlusive.
I was going to say, because you're occluding blood now. The body is trying to overcome that because proprioceptive feedback. Your muscles are going, wow, we're blowing up. No blood flow. So your body is going, well, maybe we need to turn up the pressure because we're obviously not effective in that part of the body.
So 2 things are going on. One is the body's getting a signal that you need to put in more blood.
Right.
And at the same time, the thing is really dammed up, and so it can't get out. So you've got this pump that's now pushing into something that doesn't give, and that's one of the things by our design that we've avoided. That's why these bands are really safe. And so if you're using Be Strong bands on a regular basis, if anything, your resting blood pressure is going to go down because you're getting the benefits of this kind of exercise.
Okay. So Kurt Hanisch says, I have read people recommend set reps be 30, 15, 15, 15. Be Strong recommends 30, 30, 30. Yeah. Is there evidence that one is better than the other, or are both fine? I can lift heavier with the 30, 15, 15, 15 regimen.
Right. Both are fine. There's all the key here is that you're using relatively light weights that don't do damage, and the idea that you're doing multiple reps and multiple sets so that the working muscle kind of runs out of gas. It doesn't have its intercellular phosphates replenished because the blood flow is restricted. So that's the principle. Either one of those protocols is just fine. And the other thing to say is nothing's set in stone. So if for a particular exercise, let's say you can only do 20 reps or something like that, then you might try 4 sets of 20 reps.
Because the golden rule is just you got to fail at a higher number to exaggerate that pump. Really,
yes,
that's really what we're shooting for.
Right.
So here's an interesting question, and this is something that I talk about with friends of mine. Squats and deadlifts. Any issue wearing a lifting belt for these exercises while also wearing the bands? But I want to go even further than that. The compartmentalization of blood can lead to, with the heaviest weights, could lead to syncope. You could actually, your body just kind of drops your blood pressure because it's all trapped in your legs, especially if you're doing squats, more specifically. I've found that if I put the bands on and I do heavy leg movements, I definitely notice a little kind of wooziness, let's say. I don't think it's wise to do heavy squats and heavy deadlifts wearing anything that is restricting blood flow in any way, shape, or form. What do you think about that?
I agree. But to specifically answer this question
about the belt,
you can do Be Strong bands with or without a weightlifting belt. It really will have no influence on it one way or the other. And the thing that I would say, though, is if you're doing squats and deadlifts with Be Strong bands on, you're not really going to need the big weights that the weight belt is typically going to support. So you really don't need it, but it's not going to hurt it if you use it.
Okay. All right. I want to take our last commercial break. These are all great questions. Keep them coming. If you have more, please post them. But I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me why they haven't considered the Be Strong bands. If your goal is really to build muscle and strength, and this is a way to do it faster, why aren't you using it? Right now, you can get the upper arm bands for $100 off, almost $100 off at BStrong, BStrong.training/super-human. You can get them for $199. It comes with an app. It comes with a carry case. It's a really nice package. It's really well made. This is like medical grade type equipment. And it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. And you'll know very quickly if it's working. But if you're like everybody else that's tried it, you're going to be like, oh, my God, I got to get the leg bands now. If it does this for my upper body, I need to get something for my lower body too. So check it out. We'll be right back with more. Stay tuned. You've heard about blood flow restriction training since 2006 on SHR, but you're still on the fence. Well, here's the push. BFR is more effective at building muscle than anabolic steroids. That's right, I went there, but it's because it's the truth. My experience with the Be Strong blood flow restriction system is proof to me, and now I'm asking myself why I waited so long. You'll see undeniable changes in the targeted muscles in days and weeks like nothing you've ever tried before. I will never stop using them. Give Be Strong a try. Go to BStrong.training/super-human and use code SHR for 10% off. Hey, this is Carl. For 14 years, you've heard me talk about Can-C eye drops, and they being the reason that I do not need reading glasses at now 61 years old. But I regularly get emails and messages from people who've been using Can-C and having some amazing results. Recently, I got an email from a fellow named Chad, who, because he was on dexamethasone eye drops for over 6 months, developed a cataract. Can-C eye drops actually reduced my cataract to the point where even my doctor has a hard time finding it. I will never stop using Can-C eye drops twice a day. I've been using them since 2008, he says. And you should be too. There is no better way to keep your eyes healthy and seeing clearly than Can-C eye drops. Go to wisechoicemedicine.com today and get on board, and we will both be looking into the future with very clear vision.
Planet Earth CBD offers a fast-acting transdermal patch that targets your aches and pains for the relief you need. Not only is the patch uniquely patented, but it is widely believed to provide larger quantities of available cannabinoids to the source of pain than other brands' subpar products. Effective for 24 to 48 hours. Experience the benefits of Planet Earth's high-quality transdermal patch. Manufactured by Next Generation Technology in an FDA-registered facility. This pressure-sensitive adhesive delivers rich hemp extract directly through the skin. Be it a neck ache or a headache, you can count on CBD to take off the edge. Go to planetearthcbd.com today to learn more.
Are you still on the fence about body protection complex BPC oral from drseeds.com? Listen to Maggie Kuhn, one of the owners of the C-Bus lifting company gym in Columbus, Ohio.
I had been having some nagging tendon issues that weren't injuries, just things that were annoying. You know, I'm 58 years old, so just older tendon kind of issues. For us powerlifters, you know, we really don't stop training when we have just nagging issues. We just kind of keep pushing through. And I started the BPC. What I noticed was I was doing some heavy tricep stuff that would have killed me before when I had an elbow problem, and I was able to do that with literally no pain at all.
Go to drseeds.com, drseeds.com. Use coupon code SHR and save 20% off your bottle of BPC Body Protection Complex today. If there is one mineral you should be worried about not getting enough of, it's magnesium. Magnesium is the body's master mineral, powering over 300 critical reactions, including detoxification, fat metabolism, energy, and even digestion is influenced by the presence of magnesium. That's why I'm so excited to tell you about a new magnesium product I've been taking now called Magnesium Breakthrough. It's the ultimate magnesium supplement, easily the best I've ever seen or experienced. With all 7 forms of magnesium, I was able to arrange an amazing deal for my audience, and I guarantee it's the best deal available on this product. Seriously, with volume discounts combined with our custom 10% coupon code SHR10, you can save up to 40% off select packages of Magnesium Breakthrough. And I promise that this deal is only available on this specific website, magbreakthrough.com/SHR. You won't find that deal on Amazon or even on the company's own website. Go to magbreakthrough.com/SHR and use code SHR10 to save up to 40% off select packages of Magnesium Breakthrough.
Quest Nutrition makes bars, cookies, chips, and pizzas out of complete dairy-based proteins. Our products minimize net carbs and sugar without sacrificing taste. Each delicious chocolate-flavored chip, cookie chunk, and crunchy crumble is custom-made to maintain Quest macros. It's time to enjoy foods that work for you, not against you. It's time to enjoy your Quest.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where brawn and brains finally meet.
Jim is working his upper arms right now.
Yeah, I'm on my 3rd set.
There you go. Aiden said, I want to talk about this for a second, what you're doing. He said, thank you. I was also experiencing mild syncope with heavy squats and deadlifts while banded and belted. The compartmentalization of blood is a handy thing, but when you're all out lifting weight, your blood needs to flow freely from limbs to the core of the body and so on. And I learned this the hard way. Another person who did this was, and I don't think he was using Be Strong bands, but Dr. Dominic D'Agostino was squatting with blood flow restriction in place in his legs, and he almost passed out, he said, during one of the reps. So yeah, if you're doing something heavy, you don't need to take the heavy weight off, put the bands on, put 125 pounds on the bar and do 20 reps with it. That's the place at the end of that work. So
let me just add, as a general rule for when you're actually lifting weights, generally use from 25 to 33% of your 1 rep max.
Yeah, very light. And people may feel foolish lifting that kind of light weight, but if it's going to work, what do you care? If it actually builds strength and muscle size, what do you care? Yeah. I mean, think about the lack of injuries. Look at me. I mean, I got like Frankenstein's body at this stage of my life because of all the injuries I've sustained. I could have just done it with B Strong bands, and I probably look a lot better and feel better too.
Well, you make a good point, Carl, and that is that as we age, we're just not capable of doing the kind of workouts that we used to, and we picked up various injuries along the way, and we can easily aggravate those if you're lifting heavy. That's something that B Strong bands really help with.
I want to talk about aging a little bit more. This is a great segue to what I wanted to say. There are a lot of people out there who really can't do a whole lot of anything. And I've been a huge proponent of start where you are. And what I've said on this show for a decade now is if all you can do is stand up during the TV commercials, start there.
Right.
Make it your goal. You watch 2-3 shows, stand up during every TV commercial. Do that for a week or two. Then stand up and walk around the chair during every TV commercial. Do that for 2 weeks. Then stand up and walk around the room and just it's all about progression. What people fail to realize is, first of all, I have a saying, stronger is younger, because we attribute strength with youth, right? So if you are stronger today than you were yesterday, you can not only stand during the commercials, but now walk around your chair. You're getting younger. In my book, you're getting younger. But to take that a step further, these bands, people go to water aerobics because it's easy to do. You got your whole body movement, you got resistance, you feel better, you get stronger, and progression. You could do more and more and more. Eventually you get out of the pool. This is a great method to use. If all you could do is sit in your chair, then put the bands on and do leg extensions. Just lift your leg and lock it out, put it down. Do that during commercials.
Or just up and down from the chair.
Yes.
Do
body weight squat.
We call them chairs. 3 sets of 30 getting up and out of your chair and back down. So
absolutely. The number one reason a person is institutionalized is because they fall. They usually fall getting out of a chair. Then the kids come and say, hey, mom, hey, dad, you can't live by yourself anymore. You got to go into an institution. This is a great way to keep yourself out of an institution, number one. Number two, as we understand aging better and better, and we understand the role of senescent cells, there's another issue that emerges in aging that leads to lots of disorders, and that is changes in microvasculature. Mm-hmm. As we age, because of stenosis and plaques, or even just the changes in viability of tissue in blood vessels, in microvasculature, then we start developing nerve issues because the blood flow that nourishes the nerves is cut off. The nerves stop working. You have sensations, lack of sensations, pain. You can't move the way. Using the B Strong bands on your legs, if you're starting to develop neuropathies and stuff like that, can only be good for you, because when you walk, it's going to exaggerate that blood flow into that microvasculature. What's going to happen? It's all closed up. It's going to slowly start to open. You do that day in and day out. It starts to open. The lining of that microvasculature starts to revive. And all of a sudden, you notice that your neuropathy isn't as bad as it used to be. We know that this is at the root of most people's neuropathies. It used to be, we thought it was blood glycation. We thought it was a blood sugar glycation end products that only die. But now we know people that aren't even diabetic are getting neuropathies now. It's microvascular changes. Now, what is it from? Is it from glyphosate? Is it from the consumption of caffeine? Is it from this? Who knows? But one way to reverse it is to change the hemodynamics in your legs. And you can do that with these bands.
Right.
What do you think of that?
I think that's absolutely right. In fact, there's been a study that was published in Medicine, Science, Sports, and Exercise in 2014, where they showed that one bout of Katsu, in this case, was upregulated VEGF, HIF-1 alpha, the nitric oxide things, all of these things that build new and better endothelium. And so this really is a cure and a fix for microvascular disease.
Yeah, and you start light. You don't pump these suckers right up. You're not living with any blood flow restriction at this moment. So just a tiny bit is going to change things, and then you progress. You move more with them on. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
And also another thing for kind of the seniors out there, we're not there yet, Carl. So don't worry. But
when they were talking about people over 60 dying from COVID, I said, "Oh my God, that's me." Yeah, I know.
Definitely over 60. But there is a very interesting in Japan. Their population is aging, and they're basically they have lots of old people because they take good care of them. But these old people were getting around less and less, and getting to a point where they needed help to come into the home to just do the daily chores and various things, or maybe go shopping. And they started them on a Katsu regime, or like Be Strong, and they actually improved the fitness of these elderly people such that they didn't have to have help come into the house anymore. And so it was really a cost savings to society. The elderly felt much better about themselves. There's a lot of self worth involved in being able to take care of yourself, and so a lot of good things coming out of it.
So there you go. Lots of good reasons to get them. You can get the upper arm bands right now by going to the website bstrong.training/super-human. They're normally $288. For my audience only, they're $199. They come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. They even have financing available at the website. 0 interest financing for 6 months to make it easy for you to try them. I guarantee you that once you try them, you'll never want to be without them. They work. And I made a claim on this show after I used them for just a few weeks. And I said they are more effective than anabolic steroids. And I've used anabolic steroids and I've used these bands, and I'm telling you, you will see changes in your muscles, in the targeted muscles, faster than anything you've ever done. So if you really are sincerely interested in building muscle faster and more effectively and more efficiently, then ask yourself the question, why don't I own a pair of these bands? These are not those cheap tourniquet bands, folks. These are sophisticated medical type devices. They look just like a blood flow, a blood pressure cuff with the bladder and the pump, and it has the gauge, and you know that you have the exact same pressure every time you use them on each limb that you want, and boom, you're ready to go. So check it out. Don't be missing out on this. Dr. Jim, thanks so much for being here today.
Oh, happy to be here.
Okay, and we'll talk to you again soon, okay?
All right, very good. Thank you, Carl.
Okay, and then we are off the air tomorrow, so have a happy and healthy 4th of July. And we do have a great show Monday. Joel Green is joining us Monday, so you're going to want to be there for that. And we'll see you then. Take care.